All right, so Friday I milled all this stuff up. I did these glue ups of the redwood, and you can see here I got a sap, little sap pocket there. That's just one of the things that happens. I want you to notice though that I selected the wood. It's pretty vertical. You see the middle board has a little bit. You're getting towards the center of the tree there, but that's not bad. I'm just pointing that out because when you can get this mostly a vertical grain, you're going to have less likely a chance of these things wanting to warp. Anyhow, it's something to be aware of. So I'm going to get these trays done today. At least I'm planning on it. I got to get them done today. I really don't have a choice. Tomorrow I'm getting picked up by Kirgy's son, and for him, I gotta hang this giant piece of artwork in a corporate office. I forgot to mention that in last night's video. So it's thing's huge. It's close to 8 feet tall. I think it's like 90 inches tall. It's probably about 9 feet wide. It's pretty massive, and I don't know what's going on in the walls, so I'm bringing a whole kit. It's probably metal studs. In the past, I would drill through the metal stud big enough for a molly bolt that opens up like a butterfly with a spring once you poke it through, because that's super secure. But even though this is a large piece, it's got weight to it. I might get lucky with the metal stud and be able to put a screw right through the cleat. It's a French cleat system that they did with the frame, which I would have done. So they did that right. I might be able to just do that. The problem is the wall's so long, there's a hump in the middle. And that frame ain't going to bend, you know. So I'm going to have to bring some shims to shim out those cleats that I put on there. But you'll see that tomorrow. I got to get that done. And then Wednesday, I got to go over to Kirgy's to talk to her neighbor with her about putting a topper across her block wall between her and her good neighbor. And they want that, so it'll be cool. And that's what's happening this week before Thanksgiving, which I don't think I'm going to do anything for Thanksgiving. I've been invited, like I get every year. Somebody always does, but I'm such a loner. Anyhow, stick around. I'll try to film a few little moments here and there on this so you see how I decided to do this project. And that's that. So a quick wrist check for you this morning. I'm wearing my MWC 300 meter diver. I put it on this Jubilee bracelet that was on my Seiko Willard reissue. And you'll see it doesn't have fitted end links, but I don't care. I think it looks fine like that. Perfectly fine. I think that's cool. Perfect timing for a horn. At any rate, this was a watch. I think that it sells on the website for, I don't know, 400 bucks in that range, give or take $100. And I picked this up used on eBay for under $100 shipped quite some time ago. It's become my go-to every day. Turn on the radio. I got the fever for this girl. Oh, he's got the fever. Can do when he's got the fever for a girl. Oh, he's got the fever. We've got the fever. Oh, he's got the fever. All right. It's 2 o'clock. This should have been done, but once again, I got distracted on the phone. A girl called me from back in the day. I've had the hots for her for 34 years. And don't call me during normal business hours. People on the East Coast, there's a 3-hour time difference. If it's 3 o'clock your time, it's noon my time. If it's 8 o'clock your time, it's 5 p.m. my time. So, but I took the call because, and then you might have heard I was singing out loud there. Springsteen, he's got the fever for a girl. Just so funny. That's the truth, man. So what I'm doing here is it's all butt joints because of space. And I'm putting screws in for strength. And 1/2-inch plywood, in my opinion, for what that's worth, I think is about the thinnest you could go and still get a screw in. And I might screw this up right now. I might have to pull a screw and redo it. That's why you want a pre-drill here. Anyhow, there's going to be screws all around the perimeter of this bottom and in the sides, right along here into the end grain of these redwood panels. And the big thing about countersinking these is that when you're dragging this in and out of your vehicle, the heads of the screws won't rub or catch on anything. And hopefully they're not poking through the inside. You can see the size of these things, so that's good. This is pretty massive. It's about 9 inches tall, and it should be about 8 inches interior height. And if you ask me, that's massive. And this guy wanted a lid on it that he can lift off. And then he wanted me to make a couple cubbies in here, which I realize is not a bad idea. But I think I'm going to oversimplify it. I think I'm going to put, it's hard to judge for somebody else because he didn't have the stuff on him that he's going to be putting in these boxes. It would be nice to have something right across the center. That's really enough. He wanted one section for something else, but he showed me what he's got. I don't have a measurement on it, but I think it's less than half the length here. It's a torque wrench that he carries around with him. The problem is if I cubby this up, and let's say I make something only 4 inches deep here, or this way, you can't get into it. It's so deep. So I'll be sending him this link because I think it's smarter to just put one piece this way at this height to keep the top from sagging. The top will rest on here and these edges and then that center. And then my suggestion would be just use, one of the things I do all the time is I save cardboard boxes. And of course, you can make your own stuff. But, you put your gear in the boxes and then you use the boxes to create the particular little cubby spots. You know what I'm saying? That makes more, if you put a couple of these boxes in and then leave open space, you can put items in it, and then it's just a smarter way to go. And that's what I'm going to suggest. That's what I am suggesting. These spots are so large that if you wanted to make an insert to divvy up because the crazy thing, it's so deep, a lot of stuff you have isn't that deep. So you could have a section down here that had cubbies, and then you have another box sitting on top of that, and all that could still be under the 8 inches of height, right? So you can lift this out and then have stuff underneath it. So it's going to be smarter for him. That's way too much work. I agreed to do this with a couple dividers and a top, and I'm already doing way more than I agreed to because I decided to put the solid end on it. Because from the end of the truck, that's going to look a lot better than seeing the edge of the plywood like my stuff. And I made did a nice job here with these holes. This, you could see the massiveness of this. This you can put 100 pounds of stuff in this. So, and it should be strong enough to hold that much. At any rate, let me keep working. So the idea here, when you round over all these bottom edges, as you're moving this thing around, you can't catch it and then rip off it's a pretty thin veneer on this 1/2-inch shop birch. So, all right, let me make a lid for this, and then I'll show you how that works, and then we're pretty much done. I'll put a divider in here that can be removed. I won't glue that. And then I'll let this guy live with this, and if he wants to, pay me to do something else, that'll work. But I think the rest of this he can kind of take care of on his own. Obviously, I want to stamp the, well, you'll see. All right, so this is the way it works. There's 2 of these, flat deck, totally supported, and the way you get this out is just stick your hand in here and lift up on it. Lifts right out. I've got these little nubs that wrap around here, so when you put it on, it can't move anywhere. Can't slide off here, and it's supported on all 4 edges. And then inside here, I've got this sliding box that you can take out. So that to me makes the most sense because, again, I mentioned this earlier, it's just so deep that I couldn't make cubby spots this tall that were narrow, because you just lose stuff. To me, this makes the most sense, and this is way more work than I intended it to be. So I still got to burn the logo in here and a little bit of sanding. I'm not going to go crazy on this. I think he's going to sand it and stain it, but that's pretty. I think this makes sense. The beauty of this is you take this out and do stuff, put it away, and you're golden. So I hope you guys dug on this. It's a pretty cool setup. It's supposed to be 9 inches tall. It might be a 1/16 of an inch or so taller than that, but I know that when I measured it, he had more than 9 inches underneath there, so hopefully this will work. If it doesn't, I don't know how the hell I'd lower it. I have to shave this top edge down and get that on there, so hopefully we're golden. Here's the second one. Together, if you were to stack these at camp somewhere, should be about 18 inches tall. Yeah, we're golden here. I mean, this is a hair over 18, which means they're 9 inches tall. So, but this is a good height to sit on, I would imagine. Let's find out. Oy. Let's move you over here. This took all stinking day. I mean, that's because I got stuck on the phone, but here you go. Look at this. One on top of the other, and this is perfect. Perfect height for sitting on. And you can probably get 2 people sitting on here. Absolutely, sitting around a fire or something. Although these have flat bottoms on them, so you'd probably want to have maybe 4 little blocks of wood or 4 stones or something like that to set this upright, because it would rock on the ground. And, if you're just putting this on mud and whatnot, I wouldn't suggest that. But on concrete like this, perfectly fine. And I'll risk putting a boot print on this, but, this is super strong. That's, I'm not light. And even this, if you ask me, this is a pretty good height too. I hope you guys appreciated this, but that's it for now. Be kind. I got to clean this mess up. I should be on the road home by now. Woo! Once again, please don't call me during normal work hours. Be kind to one another. I'll catch you in the next one.